Hello everyone, this is Rdean. I want to welcome you to our training video here. There's a very exciting training piece that I want to talk with you about, and I want everybody to understand I got this from a very powerful gentleman by the name of Robert Kiyosaki that wrote a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, but he also wrote a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. So what I want to do is just kind of enlighten you and get you to take a sneak preview at where you at and take a snapshot and an inventory of your life. Okay, so I want you to pay real close attention to the screen. Okay, this is what we call the cash flow quadrant. Okay, now what I'm about to explain to you, I'm going to put some different alphabets up here in this square that you see up here on this particular slide. Okay, now the first alphabet that I want to put up here is what we call an E. Okay, this stands for employee. This means that you trade time for dollars. This means that you work in corporate America. And what I want you guys to understand, you go to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, okay, or sometime Monday through Friday, okay. And I want you to think about this for a minute. You put in 40 hours, you get paid for 40 hours. You don't put in 40 hours, you don't get paid. Now this is what's very harmful in the E quadrant. Now I want you guys to think about this. First of all, your income is limited to per hour. Okay, a lot of us work 2 jobs, and a mentor of mine told me a long time ago, 2 jobs are for 2 people. Okay, now let me tell you some very unique issues about the E quadrant. Number one, you have no tax benefits, okay, unless you tell a little fib and claim kids that are not yours. And I know you don't do that, but I'm just making a joke, okay? But I want you to think about it. There's no real tax benefit in that quadrant, okay? Also, you're at the mercy of the economy, okay? Your job tell you, hey, you got to go on a night shift, you got to go on a day shift, we're going to shut down. So I want you to think about that for a minute. So you're at the mercy of the economy. You really have no freedom. Now, this is the real bad thing about the E quadrant, okay, is that the E quadrant institutionalized you because you've been prepared your whole entire life to work in the E quadrant. I want you to think about this for a minute. When you was a kid in elementary, they train you to get up in the morning, go to school. Be to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. When the bell ring at 12, you're hungry. When the bell ring at 1, you're unhungry and you go back to your class. Think about it for a minute, okay? You have a little teacher planning day where your parents come out and see what you've done, and you're a little proud little child, and you just on your way to serve corporate America, right? Then you graduate and you go to high school. They say, hey, be to class at 8 o'clock. The bell ring at 12, you better be hungry. Bell ring at 1, you better be unhungry back in class. You go to school every day, they give you a perfect attendance awards, and now you get to graduate, and now you prepare for the world. And what do? You go in 1 of 3 areas. You either go to college, which is cool, but I want everybody to understand something. All college does is prepare you to start in the E quadrant, but they program you to make you think that you're going to start off at the top of the E quadrant, okay, which is cool, but you're still in the E quadrant, right? Or you go in the military and you got to get up even earlier, okay? Or you go out into the world and you start to work. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. What they tell you on your job, hey, you better be to work at 8 o'clock. Hey, you better be clock out on your lunch break at 12, and you better clock back in at 1. I want you to think about that. See, we've been institutionalized so long, that's why it's hard for us as individuals to accept an opportunity when people bring us an opportunity. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. A lot of times people say stuff like, oh, I tried network marketing. It didn't work for me. I don't think it's work. I don't think it's me and all this kind of stuff. Guess what? Your job wasn't you. Okay, they just hired you. You put applications everywhere, but you didn't dream about working at that dream job. Not most of us. Some of us lucky and got our dream job, but most of us, we worked whoever first person that hired us. See, that's when the weakness started right then. Now think about this for a minute. You got to call in and ask for time off to spend with your children. Now I want you to think about how weak that is. Sir, can I take some time off? Or if you're sick, you can't even enjoy being sick in the E quadrant. I want you to think about that for a minute. And I'm going to tell you one of the most devastating things about that quadrant is that if you cannot get up and go to work, your income is brutally interrupted, people. I want you to think about that for a minute, okay? Now, let's look at the next quadrant, which is the S quadrant. Now, this is going to blow your mind. This is the self-employed quadrant. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this quadrant that's very powerful as well. See, a lot of people that are self-employed, they think they're in business, but they're not. They're just self-employed. They work for themselves. And this is going to blow your mind. First of all, if they try to take vacations and so forth, the people that they got working for them, the 1 or 2 employees, they're going to steal from them. Think about it for a minute. Also, people that's working there, they actually now training their own competitors, because people are going to suck them for all the information and go out and open up their own business. So now they're training competitors. I want you to think about it for a minute, okay? Also, if something happened to them where they can't go and operate on somebody, or if they can't do a law thing, to help somebody in court, if they can't lose their throat or something, or if they can't work on a car, or if they can't fix somebody's hair or what have you, their income is brutally interrupted because their income comes from their own effort, okay? That's what we call a self-employed person. Now let's look at the other side over here, the B quadrant. This is where we all want to be at. But guess what? We've been institutionalized so long in the E quadrant that when it's time for us to function in the B quadrant, we're skeptical. Every time somebody presents you an opportunity, you're skeptical. Oh, I got to pray about it. I got to think about it. This and this and this. But when somebody offers you a job, then because you've been so institutionalized, you'll go ahead on and look at a job. And when somebody offers you an opportunity, now you're scared. Now, what you think about this here? We live in America, the land of opportunity. And most of us born and we die at 21. And we walk around the rest of our life dead, waiting to be buried around 90 to 100 years old. I want you to think about that for a minute. See, the B quadrant people, I want you to think about what I'm about to say about the B quadrant. See, the B quadrant gives you more tax write-off, more tax benefits. The B quadrant, you can earn as much money as you possibly can as far as your mindset will allow, okay? The B quadrant teaches you to be self-sufficient, okay, disciplined. I want you to think about that for a minute, okay? So a lot of people want to get in the B quadrant, but they're scared because they keep listening to people in the E quadrant. How somebody broke going to teach you how to get rich when they have never done it? I want you to think about that for a minute. And also in the B quadrant, we have other businesses, okay? And this is what I want everybody to understand. We have something called I quadrant. This is the investors quadrant. Okay, this is where now your money make more money than you ever made in your entire life, and it's working harder than you are. See, but if you're going to build the B quadrant, then you need to save enough money and invest in the I quadrant so you can retire happy and healthy and excited. Now in the B quadrant, you got different businesses up there, okay? You got what we call traditional business where overhead is very high. Okay, you also have the real estate market, which we all know that the real estate market done busted, right? Then you also have franchises. We know that's another high overhead. But guess what people are sleeping on, which is going to be one of the biggest things that ever hit the future in the next 10 years, is network marketing, people. So I want everybody to understand and listen to this video. If you truly want to go after your goals and dreams, then you got to be aware of the quadrants, and then you got to educate yourself and get started in your own business. And if you want to do that, let's get rolling with Top Gun and North American Power. Thank you.